Dwyane Wade, we got to talk about this. He's clapping back at his ex-wife, Savon, for refusing to allow their daughter, Zaya, to legally change her gender and name. Dwyane says her objection to the court petition is libelous, and nonsensical. In court documents obtained by TMZ Sports, Wade wrote, a court order affirming her identity will allow Zaya to live more comfortably and honestly in all aspects of her life, from simple introductions and food orders to applying for a driver's license and filling out college applications. What are your thoughts on their legal battles? Al, let's start with you. What do you think?
You know, this is a very touchy situation because we're talking about a child. But more than that, we're talking about a child who is the daughter of Dwyane and a daughter of his ex-wife. I can't remember her name.
Savon.
And you guys know that I've been a very strong advocate of Dwyane and how he has stood in this space and educating us on having a transgender daughter. I have supported him and Gabrielle, but listen, that ex-wife definitely should have a say. That's her daughter too. And I feel like the issue here with Dwyane and Gabrielle is in public perception and in public opinion, you've boxed that mother, the biological mother, out of this process, and we don't like it. We don't like how it looks, and we don't like how it feels. Now, if you guys want to change this around and change the sentiment of how the public feels about the decisions that you're making for your daughter, then you need to incorporate that biological mother, and you guys need to stand unified in a unified decision. If not, then you need to wait till the child is 18 years old so that the child can make their own decisions.
Okay, I hear you. Q, what do you think?
So first and foremost, Al, I think when it comes to their child, they shouldn't give a damn about the court of public opinion. I think number two, and we covered it on the show 2 weeks ago, Dwyane Wade, in his first response to her, and we don't know if it's true or false, says that Siobhan has had opportunity to come around and be around the children, and she hasn't, and that she's not on board with the situation. And lastly, I want to clarify something, because when we say change name and change gender, a lot of you guys instantly run to sex change. That is not what they're talking about. They're talking about the change of her name and the change from M on the license or the ID to F, to legally identifying as a female. We're not talking about the removal of the genitals and having the gender reassignment surgery. We're talking about it on paper. And here's the thing. When you really slice it and dice it, it's a bit to do about nothing. We're already calling the child Zaya Wade. We're already referring to the child as she, all right? Leaving it the same on the license doesn't change anything. Changing it on the license doesn't change anything. So if the net effect of the whole situation is zero, then why make a big fuss about it? It's just, at this point, it's a vanity title. We're already calling her Zaya Wade, and we're already referring to her as her. Why making it, what is making it legal on paper going to change?
I'm going to assume, again, outsider looking in, that the mother feels alienated out of the process.
Absolutely.
And Dwyane can say she's a deadbeat or she didn't choose to come around. We don't know that to be a fact. I think whoever has the purse string, has the money, can make the other parent look as crazy as they want to. Mm-hmm. And it's very easy to control the narrative when you got the bread. And I always had a side eye to this story because it feels like it's Dwyane and Gabrielle's daughter. It does not feel like it's Dwyane and Savon's daughter at all. And I think, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say this. I think Dwyane and Gabrielle, in my opinion, were dead wrong for putting this out in public for us. Why are we included in this group chat? Why are we included more in the group chat than the mother seems to be in the group chat? Like, why are, I feel like they run, like it's too much in the public light. This is a minor. It's none of our business. It's really none of our business. And it does give credence. It does give a little credibility to the mom's claims that it's like being used to kind of like publicity. I don't really know, but that's what it feels like to me. It feels like I would be appalled as a 12-year-old. We started hearing about Zaya, like I think 12, 13 years old, like really young, right? Appalled at my mom talking about my period or my sexuality or anything that I'm discussing with her. And then it gets put on an Instagram page. And then there's a whole thing around me, because I'm not saying, oh, she might change her mind. I don't think that's a thing that you change your mind about, but I don't know. We don't know. But the child is now put in a position where there's so much pressure now, right? There's probably a whole community that Zaya is afraid to let down on either side. But at the end of the day, we should not be involved in this, but we are. It has been put out there so much. And I wonder, are we getting more of the story than the mother? It feels like the mother is like kind of off to the side, and it's Gabrielle and Dwyane about this whole thing. And it should be Dwyane, Savon, and Zaya, and Gabrielle should be secondary as the stepmom. Right. In my opinion, it's just my opinion. I don't have kids, and y'all can come for me and say, well, you ain't got no kids. Well, I don't. But I have common sense.
I want to add one thing to this story. I think, honestly and truthfully, I think a lot of the wrong questions are being asked, and I think a lot of the wrong discussions are being had. I think the main question that needs to be asked is the child healthy and happy? Okay. I think that's a question that needs to be asked. I think that there is some contention between Gabrielle and Siobhan. But here's what I think Siobhan needs to reconcile. And I don't know where she stands in terms of her feelings about transsexuality and homosexuality. But Siobhan, even when you make the press present day about yourself, your daughter is referred to as her and Zaya. All right. So despite how you feel about it, that is now her identity. And if that makes that child happy and that child is healthy, then what is the harm at this point? Because she's already being identified by the world as Zaya Wade and her, with letting this go through with her name change and her gender change.
I don't think that that's the rub, Q. I don't think that she's not supporting a name change or not supporting this journey of her daughter. I really don't think that that's the case. I think the case is how she feels it's being manipulated by her ex-husband and his new wife. That's the undercurrent that I feel. I mean, there's nothing that she stated in the press where she says definitively, I don't support my daughter's, transgender transformation or journey. She's never said that. What she said is that she feels boxed out and she feels like she's still a parent and she should have a say. It should be a joint decision. And I can't argue with that. She birthed that child. She should have a say in that child's life journey, and it shouldn't be hijacked by anybody else, period.
I couldn't imagine being outside of the house and I don't have custody of my child for whatever reason. And there's this rumors about that, okay? And then the woman that is, in the home with my child is front and center. And often people kind of forget about Savon. They actually really give credit to Dwyane and Gabrielle and she probably feels a little bit like an outsider looking in. And then the public have such a say about it, but she doesn't. I could see where she's frustrated.
I think that there's a way you take up that fight with your husband and Gabrielle without that child becoming collateral damage.
But yeah, I agree.
I think there's a way you take up that fight without the child becoming collateral damage.
But I do
call their house every day and cuss their ass out.
But I don't think she was the first one that brought up the contention in the press. Now let's be real of who's been laying things out in the press, who's been the lead in the media.
So here's my question. Here's my question, because at a certain point you got to know when to hold and when to fold. Okay, in this situation with the name change and the gender change, you would like say so. I understand that. My question to you is, if we gave you say so today, what would your say so be? Would you be for it? And if you would be for it, then this is a futile fight.
I think it's the disrespect of feeling like include the public in it more than the public's more involved. I think Gabrielle and Dwyane putting it out there, probably to us before they put it to the mom. That's what it feels like, but we don't know, I do feel like she's been alienated out of this child about decisions way before the Zaya situation.